This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with That Prize Guy. We're delighted to be joined all the way down under, 10 days out from fight night number 3, Owen the Bomber Corrigan. How are you, mate?
All good, Steve. Thanks for having me on yet again. Looking forward,
It,
10 days to go.
it's my pleasure. Like, obviously, I know for us here now, well, for you as well, obviously, it's about 10 days out from fight night. Um, we obviously haven't caught up. We obviously, after your second pro fight, like, your last fight, was it probably fair to say, was the first real taste of pro boxing for you? Because obviously you had a stoppage and debut. You've obviously went the distance now. Like, do you actually feel like a professional? Obviously, after going the distance in the fight.
Yeah, I got me welcome to the pros, all right. Ben Witter got against Liam Cameron. I got against Mr. Lang Wang. It was, yeah, step up in class. It's been annoying because I was saying to people all along, this guy's good, this guy's good. He's only lost once, and the guy he lost it fought for a world title. Like, he's now walking the park. He came to save his career. He had 2 wins, 1 loss. He came to win. He trained. He turned up. He was in shape. He came down before the show, tested out the ring. You know, he came to beat me that night. Where we are in the world, we don't get journeymen, so we don't get guys just come for a nice work. You know, he came for a fight, and I'm delighted he did. We said to him, promoter after Tony Tolj, he said he wanted to test me. He said you had it too easy first time around, so no easy fights now going forward. It's about seeing how much we can progress, and you know, maybe not deep end stuff, but there's gonna be those stones thrown at you. So yeah, the Lions have gotten the first test out of the way.
It's like, as you well know, obviously, when in boxing, sometimes people can sort of pad a record to they sort of get 8 and 10 and 0 before they sometimes, and you'll find it not even in Irish boxing, even in the UK and things like that. They go through so many journeymen and they don't really learn too much about themselves, and then they get thrown into a fight where they're still expected to win, but there's maybe more percentage of the opponent winning, and that's where they sometimes come unstuck. Like, for you, like, you don't want to be sort of one of them people that pad through a record and sort of pretend you're a superstar in a sport. You want to get through these levels properly.
Massively, like you see it all the time, and you like, I suppose back in the UK and Ireland, you see guys fighting journeymen, and you look at their records, and it's like 1 win, 100 losses. Over here, like we don't have journeymen, but you also do have the option. If I wanted to, I could fly over to Thailand and I could fight a 15-year-old and smack him around for a round or two and look great. I get a few clips up on Instagram, a few highlight reels. That's great. But in hindsight, like, what's that doing for you when you actually have a title fight? Are you going against someone coming to save their career, or someone coming to beat you, and they push back and it gets to round 4, round 5, round 6, and they're still there, and you don't know what's going on? What do you do? I'm not about that. I want to be a real fighter. I want to be someone that's ready to fight whoever. I want to fight the best, and ultimately, I want to be the best.
It's like, was it obviously the important thing we have with some of the cards, obviously in Australia, sometimes they're hard to find, particularly live at times. Like, did you have sticky moments in the fight? Like, obviously, I guess that's why you have the corner you have, and that relationship to build up. Like, there's tough moments in the fight, like, where you sort of having to be reminded of sort of going back to basics, sort of using your jab, sort of keeping the distance, and sort of nearly taking yourself back to an amateur, sort of, in some ways. Like, did you have tough moments in the fight?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I did have to get on the jab a lot and hit, move, hit, move, hit, move. Like, truthfully, what I learned a lot about professional boxing inside and outside the ring that fight. I learned a lot in my last camp. Uh, Camp went well up until fight week. Fight week, I got sick. Came down with some sort of a flu. Was geez, it was very bad, and that prohibited the weight coming off. So the weight cut was hard. It was very hard, and like, I'm not someone that ever struggles with weight. So for the first time, I struggled with weight. Didn't recover right from the weight cut. Got into the ring. After the first round, I couldn't breathe. My lungs were giving up, and I had a great first round. I think I must got only got hit maybe once or twice. I kept him on the jab, step back, move, and then the second round he came on strong. I still think I won the second round, and the third and fourth was a fight. Like, we pushed them back a bit, and then ultimately got on the jab, moved to the right, moved to the left, just kept moving. But yeah, it's what we drill in the gym. We push ourselves sparring. We spar hard, not every spar, but we do make sure, like, at least once a week we have a hard spar and we push ourselves, make sure we get tired, and that when you start struggling, you have the intelligence to know how to get out of the sticky situations, and ultimately it saved me on the night because I managed to come away with a win.
It's one of them, you have to, we see it so many times where obviously, people get maybe getting dropped for the first time or sort of struggling with a fight. And that's sort of sometimes that's where you sort of find yourself. Like that's probably in your last fight, then that's probably the first real time you've probably been hit as a pro. Like, how did it feel to be in the receiving end of punches? Obviously, when you had your debut opponent, you wanted more action. You've got the more action, the tougher fight this time around. How does it feel taking a punch now as a pro?
Yeah, the gloves are definitely a lot smaller, but yeah, at the end of the second round, he caught me with an overhand, and I watched the fight back like several times. The commentators picked up on it, and they made it like a yeah. They talked it up a lot more than what I was. Truthfully, I didn't feel much power in the shots at all. I actually felt like I could take them and give three back. So not saying that's a tactic I'd ever use, but
Yeah.
I didn't ever feel power. I didn't ever feel worried. I have a big belief in my chin. That being said, like, I'd never go into a fight going, nothing can happen, nothing can happen. I'm well aware, and 10 days time, I'm fighting a lad. He's very fast hand. He's got knockouts on his resume, and he's coming down away. So, I didn't feel the power in the last fight. I can 100% guarantee you I'm going to feel some sort of power in this next fight. But I'm confident, and I believe I can come through it.
Your opponent next week, I'm trying to just find it here again. Alex Muster, as you say, he's obviously coming down and weight from cruiserweight. I'm obviously not sure how much he'll sort of do in the studying, but he's never got out of the first round, whether it's by winning or by losing. So, like, do you expect that they sort of be, you're saying he's coming down from a heavier weight, he's fast hands. Like, what sort of fight are you expecting? Like, are you hoping, obviously, getting past the first round, and then he's sort of in the wilderness going, what's going on? Why is there a second round? Because he's never seen the second round before. Like, what sort of fight do you expect at Owen Munster next Friday?
I'm expecting that man to run across the ring, all guns blazing, to come straight for me. I'm willing to meet him in the middle of the ring. I'm willing to push him back. If it goes past the first round, happy, like, great. If it doesn't go past the first round, it'll be him who's on the canvas. Not that I'll be talking or anything like that, but listen, I'm in there for a 4 round fight. That's what I signed up for. So whatever happens within 4 rounds happens within 4 rounds.
It's one of them, I think I've said it to you and stuff before. It's sort of, in Australian boxing, sometimes it's either knock out or be knocked out. And Alex Munster's obviously the impression of that. He just comes to have a fight, and if he gets stopped, he gets stopped. If he wins by stoppage. So he's that sort of classic case of, I'm just coming to fight. I probably don't care if I win or I lose. I'm just coming to give you a fight, and if I knock you out, happy days. If I get beat, I'm ready to go for the next one.
Yeah, I get that impression of him. I've seen this I've seen all his fights. He turns up and he just goes for it, just completely goes for it. And he's coming down a weight class now, so he's going to be a lot fitter this time. So I'm not under the ideology of, will he be tired by round three? He's coming down. He's going to be training. He's going to be watching his weight. He's not a fat boy. He's going to be turning up in shape. He'll be able for 4 rounds. Like, I well believe he will. Maybe not with me, but we'll have to wait and see.
You've seen obviously with Irish boxing, there's obviously been quite a lot of domestic obviously action recently. It'd probably be fair to say the comparison obviously you have in Australia is obviously you've Binny. There obviously you fights in the card as well. Is that something that's been talked about as maybe a potential matchup down the line? Obviously, I know I don't want to stir up any blood in Australia, but But obviously, when you and Binny's there, it's probably the closest you can get to having a domestic fight be fighting each other.
Ah, yeah, look, I'll be 100% honest with you. Binny's a bit ahead of me in age, like a good bit. He's at the end of his career. I'm at the start of my career. Binny's came up several weight classes. I don't think the fight will make sense. I think Binny's come back. He's came out of retirement for one last fight, which is rolled into a rematch. I think if us two were to me, it wouldn't be a great fight. It would probably sell, but I just think it would be more damage than good for the two of us, really, to be honest.
It's just obviously because I know what we're seeing so much the domestic action and things here, and sometimes it's easy to draw that comparison sometimes. And as you say, Benny obviously was out of the ring since 2019, the earlier this year, and obviously come up quite a lot in weight.
Yeah, he came up from. I think he originally started at welter, and now he's at light heavy. And the guy he's fighting actually came down from cruiserweight for their last fight. So yeah, look, one or two people have mentioned it to me, but I'll be honest, yeah, like I've chatted to Benny a few times. He's a nice fella, like, and there's nothing there. Like he wished me best luck. I wish him best luck. I made a good chat after the fight, so I'll put my hand in the heart and say I hope he wins his fight on Friday. Good to see two Irish lads walk away with a win.
Definitely. Obviously, something a bit random. Obviously, I know you've been over in Australia over a year now, but like, how have you customized the food in Australia? Is there much of a difference to what we have back home? Because that, from what you've probably been used to making weight and stuff before back home, probably it's different for you because obviously you're having to look for different foods. Like, remember seeing Tyrone McKenna out in camp in Germany, and all he couldn't find the things he was after. Like, how are you finding and adjusting the food in Australia?
Um, in terms of like organic produce and all, I don't think the quality is as good as it is back home. Um, I actually brought on a new dietitian for this camp, Finn Kenny, and he's a British man, but he has like he I'm making recipe. I've never made a recipe once in my life until this camp, and I'm making chicken thigh basil. I'm making stew. I'm making all sorts. I can't believe stuff I'm making, honestly, but it's very Irish. I told them the type of food I like: roast potatoes, and like I'm making stew. I had stew for dinner tonight. So I'm not actually missing the healthy food. When I come out of camp and I want a chicken fillet roll, I'll be missing back home. Or when I want a bit of black pudding or whatever. But I'm heading home in September when my best mate is getting married, and I'll be heading out with my nannies for our black pudding and sausages and rashers and you name it.
As I was going to sort of bring on to my next point, like obviously, being away from home and so many friends and family and things back home, it's a thing that can either spur you on. Like we see so many people head away sometimes, and they get to the point where they go, "What am I sort of doing this for?" Like a wee break back home will do you the world of good. It'll obviously remind you probably how far you've came in a short time in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. I listened to Tony Bedou's book a while ago, and he was saying that when he goes on the train, he doesn't like being around his family, he doesn't like being around his friends. He likes just to seclude himself and just focus on the fight. And I'll be very similar, if I'm around family or around friends, I just find a distraction. I need to be by myself. I need to be focused on my goals. So yeah, that's maybe why I've came so far in the past year because I've been just away from like family. I've got friends here, but like I can find myself, I can go into my own a lot easier. Whereas when I'm back home, I'm living at home, and you always have family there, which is great in itself, but not when you're focused on a fight and you're trying to get into the fight mode. But yeah, looking forward to a little break in September and seeing the family and having a good catch up.
I'm guessing, obviously, once you get next week out of the way, are you hoping to have one more before you come back home? So you're 4-0, or is this the last one and then a break and then back? Probably before the end of the year.
I'll be honest, I'm not looking past this fight at all. The options there, the fight, I have a few options there, but I've told everyone, I said, we'll make that decision after next Friday because I don't want to be one of them that gets too focused on the future, you forget about what's right in front of you. So 10 days time, there's no tomorrow.
It's the best way you look sometimes. I know, away from interviews and things like that, you'll think ahead, but you can't be disrespectful to the opponent, because your opponent sometimes will look into that and you'll go, well, they're overconfident, and then that spurs them on a wee bit more. But you're quite right. You obviously have to stay focused on fight. What would you say has changed on the most out of you from, an amateur boxer to professional boxer? Now you've obviously had the amateur side of things, both sides of the pond. Obviously, you box as an amateur in Australia as well. Like, what have you found been the biggest improvement yourself between amateur and pro?
It's more so outside the ring and outside the gym. It's just seeing what works for me. Joe, I'm not a part of, like, Joe, we say a team and that, but it's my team at the end of the day. It's not the gym's team. It's what works for me, because at the end of the day, if you hear so many boxers go on and say, "Oh, it was my coach's fault, whoever's fault." At the end of the day, they employed that coach, they employed that strength and conditioning coach or that dietitian. So it's down to them, and it's their career that suffered, and not the coaches, not the gyms, whatever. So it's about finding out what works for you. I'm lucky. I've found a gym. I found a team that works for me, and that their goals are in line with my goals. And then the other things, find out, like, well, what carbs should I be eating before training? What benefits me the most from my training? How can I build my social life in a way that's going to complement my training, that will ultimately help me win and help me my career go forward? Like, and then moving away from work, I'm still working a full time job. Well, not full. I'm part time at the moment while I'm in camp, but finding out how you can step away from work and focus on boxing opposed to trying to juggle the two. What's more important at the end of the day? Like, I put boxing first, so it's about what you do outside the gym, outside the ring, that can help develop your boxing career.
Do you find the job keeps you grounded? Obviously, because I guess everybody's ultimate aim is, they do it full time. Obviously, to be a full time athlete, like, does that keep you grounded? Obviously, it keeps you working hard towards your ultimate goal of being a full time professional boxer without having to work. Or do you find that gives you a sort of normal life sometimes, away from the ring, because you need that normal life sometimes, don't you?
Out of everything that builds character, anyway. But no, definitely. Like, look, there's times you should be feeling like after my last fight, I felt like a superstar Friday night, and then Monday morning I was back in the tills. Like, it does bring it back down to earth. And you see, so, like, there's so many guys in my position that are 3-0 or 4-0, 5-0, and they're full time boxing, and fair play to them, but they might be getting a bit ahead of themselves where they forget, like, where they came from. Like, I'm working with the lads, I'm having a laugh with the lads, and then I'm back to the gym, and I'm running before work, I'm training before work. It does keep you ground, and it does. Like, for me personally, it feeds me. Like, I've when I got to train, like, right, I need to stop working, so I need to train harder so I can get to that stage. I need to promote myself more. I need to work harder in training so I can be full time,
Do
which
you
is going
think
to
it?
help performance.
Do you think it'd be easier or harder back home to do what you're doing? Obviously, I guess it'd be easier in the fact that, the friends and family you have supporting you, obviously the business and things like that, that you're out of your comfort zone in a lot of ways in Australia. Do you sort of think of it, what would it like back home? Like, obviously fighting in the National Stadium, obviously Pierce Stadium now in 6 weeks' time for Kieran Malloy in Galway. Like, do you look at sort of things back home and go, what would it be like? Because we all look into things and we go, what if we were to turn left and then turn right and things like that? Do you think of it? What would it be like as a pro back home compared to Australia?
Oh, definitely. I tell you, when Jay Byrne put on the last show in the National Stadium, I was looking at it, I think, geez, that would have been great to get on. Would have sold a few tickets. Um, Hindsight's a great thing, and, like, there's a great pool of talent there, especially like heavyweight division in Ireland. But like, what's the point of thinking it? Because I think where I am now, I think the path I've chosen is ultimately the path I'm going to go on, and that be it. That being said, like, the likes of like if you look at Darren Foley's career, he flew back for a good few fights in Europe and Ireland, and maybe that will be a part we take, you know. So just we're gonna build the early career, build a few titles over here, and then we're gonna get to the stage. Myself, my coach, my promoter, we'll sit down and we'll talk about what's the best option to take.
I guess the ultimate thing with all that is obviously it's the cost, obviously, and stuff like that. And obviously, you need to keep growing, you need to keep building because these things don't come cheap. You know, obviously, taking flights somewhere else and you have to pay. You can't have the luxury of Dara was where the promoter of the show pays for them, your flights and your accommodation, things like that. If you were getting a flight back home, unfortunately, unless it was a really big fight, it's all at your own expense. So you need to keep building up them sponsors.
I'll tell you one thing, boxing ain't cheap, and it's it's a hard business to be in because that's the hardest part of boxing is that people don't understand. It doesn't pay well. We're not on Anthony Joshua money. We're scraping the barrel. You know, like I got amazing sponsors and I credit them so much. But at the end of the day, like expenses do build up, and it's the smallest of things that cost the most. So I credit it. I respect. That's why people say you have to respect every boxer because nobody knows what they go through. And it's not just the boxers, the referees, the judges, promoters, the coaches. Lads like yourself, Steve, that are promoting boxers and are doing the journalism side because it's a full time job no matter what way you look at it. So fair play to you. And Steve, I'm delighted you're back um, doing journalism. I'm delighted. As a fan, I'm delighted. And as a boxer, even more.
The Obviously you're back there venue, you know well. Like when you made your debut, you nearly tripped and fell. You had no problems last time out. Obviously, when you made your debut out in the arena, I think you said you nearly tripped and fell before you get into the ring. Like, how's them nerves? Obviously now you're fully accustomed. You could probably do the whole thing blindfolded now.
Yeah, I know my way around it. We're in a new change room this time, so we were in a change room nearer to the stairs you walk out, and this time a bit further back. So that'd be a bit exciting. Yeah, I've got me one of my mates. He's DJ to do me up ring walk song. So yeah, it's gonna be a different experience this time. So I'm looking forward to it. I won't be last two fights. I was up around the main event. This time I'm a bit earlier on the card, so I'll get out earlier. But nah, look, I'm comfortable in the Metro City. I'm looking forward to fighting elsewhere. We've talked about that, but it's ticking all the boxes, and everyone that comes is delighted. So I'm
That
comfortable.
that's the thing for you now, isn't it? It's obviously getting out of your comfort zone and going to a different venue because that's when you sort of you have to have them dreams and inspirations. You can't just go, "Well, I'm just happy to fight in one venue." You want to be, as we've spoke about before, you want to be on these bigger cards, the Jai Opetaia cards. Obviously, you've Conor Wallace and Danny Keaton both in that card. Like, you're looking at other Irish fighters and other parts of Australia and going, I want to be getting onto these cards. So the only way you can do it is go to a different venue, show you can sell tickets there, and then keep building the profile up.
Definitely 100%. And the team I'm with, Dragonfire Boxing, with Tony Tolj as a promoter, like we've talked about it, and they've big aspirations for me. I have huge ambitions. But like I said, we'll sort all that out after next Friday. There is opportunities coming. Boxing down under is definitely stepping up a level. Fingers crossed, Conor Wallace gets the job done, and it may open doors for me too.
Definitely. What can we expect, obviously, out of you in your third professional fight next week? Do you want to give a prediction on how you think it's going to go? Like, how in your head, how do you picture it going?
I just picture me getting my hands raised at the end. Whatever happens inside the distance happens. I'm coming with bad intentions, don't get me wrong. I'm coming to entertain. I'm coming to make a name for myself, but so is the other lad. So I'm prepared for whatever he brings, but I'm bringing absolutely everything I have. So my hands getting raised.
And finally, obviously, before I get you go, because I don't think I've asked you this before, and it seems to be food orientated today. I'm obviously not long after my lunch. You're not long after your tea. What's the what's the cheat sort of thing for you? Like, what's the thing you look forward to the most out of camp?
I have a sweet tooth. I have a massive sweet tooth. I love me chocolates. I love me jellies. Um, I've already organised one of the boys the next morning to bring us out to a cookie shop to get the big fancy cookies, the ice cream on top, sauces all over, like a fat pig in myself.
You've obviously been seeing in the WhatsApp group, obviously Jay out in Australia, him and Jared Hughes obviously constantly at the cookies. So that's got you in the notion for cookies, has it?
I tell you, when you're on the diet and you're eating broccoli and chicken and whatever else, and someone sends in a picture of cookies, I tell you, I can't stop staring at it. Zooming in, looking at the chocolate chips and all.
Definitely. But look, obviously it's always great to have you on and obviously get a chat with you. Obviously, 10 days out from obviously fight number 3. Fingers crossed. Obviously, all goes well for you. Obviously, you get what you want out of the fight, and we'll no doubt catch up with you very soon.
Cheers, Steve, and yet again, I'm delighted you're back, mate. 100%.
Thanks very much, Owen. Speak to you soon.
Take care. God bless.
Cheers, take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.